Happy Friday and welcome to episode 81 of the weekly 82 of the weekly recap. Maddie, I've been on vacation. I'm all combobulated. Tell me you've been holding this place together while I've been gone.
Absolutely. We have a great community built in here, so everything is going just fine. You can just be one more week and relax for vacation. You can go to another state because you've been to 2 states, right?
That's right. I did the 2022 triangulation vacation. We started in Northwest Florida and now we're in Southern California, a whole family trip. And I have a funny story, Maddie. So I put in there last week that no recap this week, and I had a beautiful picture of the beach. True story. I get set up at a local leading coffee shop. I got really good internet. It was nice and quiet. I was outside because it was quiet because, I don't want to hear, coffee foamers going through the call. And then I got poured on rain like 5-10 minutes before we were supposed to start our call. I mean, downpour and all over the laptop, all over the camera. Because the condo, while it has a really good view of the beach, it didn't have good internet, much less a quiet spot. But this place, totally different setup. So I'm good to go.
That's great. That's great to hear. So, which place did you like the best?
Oh,
Was
I
it
definitely Southern California. This is like speaking to my heart. I like it down here. I got a nice tan. I'm really chill. I'm really relaxed. So I had a great. So I don't even know what we're recording on the Wednesday, the 20th, special day, but it is. It's 2 more days of this vacation before I go back home. But I'm telling you, Maddie, it's going to be crazy. Right, the next week, all of our teams, the technical teams, you'll be there. We'll all be in Austin. We got a trick up our sleeve for the next recap. So
Yes, looking forward to that for
uh,
sure.
all right, let's get into it. So the community, everyone, guess what, has been active, and I don't know if it's officially breaking the rules, Maddie, but we're kind of breaking the rules. And what I mean by that,
We are, but we have a lot of great content in the past 2 weeks, right? So we cannot just not mention it. So
indeed, and I'll say it now. We don't have the who's new. I didn't prepare that, so we got 3 weeks to catch up. So it's going to be a big one when we get back. But let's what was one of the first things that you saw? This is across both weeks, right? So we have the dates a little bit staggered. But tell me about this post that caught your eye.
yes, thank you, Shane, for this post about Veeam backup and replication version 12. It is great to have Shane's opinion because he was at VeeamON event in Las Vegas. So if you missed on VeeamON and the VeeamON tours, just I believe this would be a great piece of information and about V12's features. And I totally agree that one of the great features in here is probably the implementation of a multi-factor authentication and the group managed service accounts. These are probably my favorite as well. I don't know, Rick, about you.
Yeah, so he leads with that right away here with the GMSAs and the multi-factor, that security bit. That's very important for sure. And then he's actually showing something right here that I think is really helpful. The best practice analyzer, which is internally we had a little joke. We need something that's going to tell you about the worst practices, and here it is. So this particular element, widget, panel, whatever you want to call it, shows the top 6 worst practices or best practices and your status on it. I actually think this is something that, much like Veeam Intelligent Diagnostics, will grow over time, right? And give you some, that we might even have other statuses, maybe something that's like a middle warning versus pass and violation type of thing, right? We have a lot of ideas there. Really, really good stuff. And what I think is also most important about it is Shane is an end user, right? So he's given his view of this. So thank you so much for sharing, Shane. This is a really good one on his top V12 features. All right, so Madi, our resident celebrity on staff in Kubernetes world, what caught your eye on this one?
Yes, it's actually a great video in there. He's talking about I I have to admit, I watched it twice to understand, but it's very interesting. He's talking about how to migrate containers, and he has a live demo on how to migrate Postgres SQL from source cluster RKE to target TKE. And I really like it because he's showing how to create a new policy and the location profile in Kasten, and how to configure a backup policy. And he's going through the backup action details, where the tools allows you to choose basically the individual resources and how to do the recovery. So
Great.
I really
Yeah,
like that about
indeed.
it.
And that's one of the amazing things about Kasten K10 is that it's one of its kind of key capabilities is migrating. So literally, this is migrating from one platform to the other, which kind of in some points of view is actually the whole premise of a container. That is, you know, the platform doesn't matter. It just goes kind of like if you go back to the early descriptions of a shipping container, it can go on a truck, it can go on a train, it can go on a boat, it can go on RKE, it can go on TKC. So thank you so much, Yong Kang, for sharing that. Another outstanding contribution in Kubernetes Corner. Oh no, I closed the wrong one. I closed the wrong one. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? All right, so we have to go a little rogue, and I'm going to pull it back up. And it was Jeff, and it was Immutability. See, I'm on vacation, Maddie. I'm a little rusty.
That's okay.
Immutability. Let's see. There it is. Was it this one? Yes, it was. All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to try to collect myself. What caught your eye here?
So yeah, basically, I love the fact that after our call with Drew 2 weeks ago, the senior director on product marketing at Wasabi, where we talked about obviously Wasabi and Veeam partnership, and the Veeam 100 members had the opportunity to get answers from Drew. It was such a good conversation. They even got some free storage as well. So I think everyone was happy about it. Thank you, Wasabi. Thank you, Drew, for that. So Jeff decided to put together this demo on how to set up S3 immutability when leveraging Wasabi and Kasten. So he's kind of going through all the steps. So this is what I really liked about it.
Yeah, and a lot of times people think about the object storage, the immutable targets. They think of that just for image-based backups with Veeam backup and replication, but Jeff is highlighting the fact that the containers, the Kubernetes backups, can be done as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jeff, as always. And I'm really happy that I was able to recover the tab so easy. And going sideways, I want to show you something. So if you go to the Veeam YouTube channel, go on Rogue here, and if you go in Veeam and you go in playlists, so Madi mentioned that we had Drew Schlussel on the Veeam 100 call, but also if you go to the Friday Tech Bites on YouTube, let me see if I can find it. If you go to the full playlist, so every Friday we do these like episodes and shows. Right here, I hosted Drew Schlussel, and he had a little promo that people can do. So Drew talks about immutability. There's Drew. Hi, Drew. So yeah, little side note there. So thank you so much for sharing, Jeff. And let me see if I can put myself back together here. Let's go on to Veeam Backup from Microsoft Azure. So Michael Paul has made the list this week. Maddie, what caught your eye here?
Well, I'm happy that he made the list again. He actually wrote an interesting article about how to secure Veeam Backup for Microsoft Azure. He's talking password authentication versus certificate authentication, and he's explaining that Veeam Backup for Microsoft Azure does not support the certificate authentication, but that doesn't mean you are stuck with the password authentication. If you still want it more secure, you can go another way and configure it with using it SSH. So he's explaining how to set up the certification authentication, as well as setting up the password authentication, and additional steps that can be taken to protect further. So again, a really great and easy to read article.
Yeah, so this is a great one, Michael, and I actually have some interesting experience here. So for one, for everybody, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft, products inside of Azure, AWS and services and products like Veeam inside of AWS as well. Those are global attack surfaces. So by default, you'll notice that at least the Veeam appliance needs a longer password. But sometimes even I've had it where if I have the Veeam backup appliance exposed to any IP address on the internet, I've actually found it locked out because of bad attempts. So anything you can do to kind of bolster the security configuration is a really good idea. So I love this, Michael, everywhere from MFA to the SSH setup and more. This is a great way to kind of up that cybersecurity implementation game. Thank you so much, Michael. All right, we're getting close. 2 more, Maddie. Going different, going to Script Town. What do we see here from Damien?
Yes, he wrote a script on Veeam Backup Microsoft 365 audit, and he's asking some help from the community to complete it as well. So if you have any idea, just to jump in and help Damien. I can see he already got some support in there, so hopefully more support is to come.
Yeah, indeed. And it unless you want to like put the kids to sleep, going through scripts sometimes isn't really a good show and tell thing. But this is the end result where you have these like kind of high level reports of what's going on. Definitely, if anybody has some ideas, and Damien came back and added another step, and it's very long and thorough. But if you want, you can again just keep adding to this. And if there's anybody that wants to help Damien out in making this script better, go for it. And this is actually, in my opinion, really cool in that Damien is actually kind of crowdsourcing something together before it gets finalized, and maybe it'll end up on GitHub as well as right here. So really good stuff. Thank you so much, Damien. All right, bring us home. Over in the, well, actually it wasn't in cybersecurity space, but Chris is talking cybersecurity. What do we see here from I Am Soul?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, we had actually Michael writing an article about VMware vSphere, and this week Christian is writing an article about VMware ESXi that contains return stack buffer underflow and branch type confusion vulnerabilities, apparently due to the Intel and AMD processors that they are utilizing. So yeah, I really like this article because also Chris comes up with some solutions as well. So just to go and read the remediation section if you are looking into solution for this issue.
Yeah, 100%. Chris, by the way, thank you so much for bringing this stuff up. It's a great reminder of how we all need to make sure that what we've implemented, we keep updating. And VMware, just like any other platform, any other software, even Veeam, we have updates too. Having these updates in place and accessible here is really good, especially something that is basically the fabric of so many data centers, right? Even by the name, Cloud Foundation, it's really that central part. So yeah, definitely check this out. And a big shout out to Chris as well as Young Kang and some others rocking out the tag game. And Maddie and I were talking about tags, and that's kind of our special department announcement here today about the tags within the community. So Maddie, kind of what's your point of view on the tags?
I think we should use it more often. I see some articles that, like I can see in some articles are used quite a lot. In other articles, not at all. And we actually created a new public tag, Veeam 100. So I would encourage people in the community to use it because we have our Veeam 100 Summit in October. We're going to have our Vanguard. We're going to have our Legends in there. So that's going to be great to start using this one. I'm going to also write an article in the news section about the public tags that we have available at the moment and how to use it. And I'm working also on getting a hashtag for Veeam 100 in LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's see when we're going to have that.
Yeah, this was probably the right time to kind of double down on tags, Madi. I mean, we've got a great library of content already in the community. We have a lot of Veeam products, right? So a lot of times, and by the way, what's missing, the who's new, I've been on vacation, guys. I'm going to catch up. Don't worry. But for all the new people that come in here, it might be a little bit overwhelming. So if we have these tags, and I'm thinking that, you know, I'm envisioning what how to use tags in the Veeam community page would look like. We can actually then kind of dive into the different products and the different you know, disciplines, right? So it's going to be a good way to be this like massive index for the community. So it'll be really cool. So I appreciate your work on that, Madi. I totally volunteered her to write that just like a little bit ago. So
my pleasure.
She rolls with it good. So Madi, thank you so much for hosting with me today. Anything else that we forgot to cover?
Well, you should show us the around.
Yeah. So I've rented this vacation property, man. I tell you, I'm loving it. I've got a pool, got a little patio. There's a grill right in front of me. There's it's not a big place, but it's just right. Yeah, we're in Orange County in Southern California. Truly chill. And so I guess my life advice to people is take good vacations. But hopefully by next week I can kind of shake that rust off of not knowing which tab to click and all that. But I did a good job of properly chilling through the week. But no, anyways, we'll catch up next week. Madi, thank you so much, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode. Have a great weekend. Tell me what I messed up in the comments, because I'm sure I did, but we'll see you next week.